Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see in this game, I am playing the still relatively new Tier 9 Pan-European destroyer, Jäger. This is the second in a series of 3 games highlighting this still new ship. The first one was the third game that I played in the ship. I was really still kind of getting the feel of the ship and what its capabilities were, and hadn't really decided how to spec it out as far as the commander or what modules I wanted to use. But at this point, I kind of had it dialed in. Now, this is a really challenging game. It's not particularly flashy, but there were a lot of things to consider in this game. So we got Salem, right, with radar. We got Stalingrad with radar. And then Sherman and Z-46 with really nice hydro, and Smolensk with radar. And all 4 of those destroyers seriously outgun the Jäger. The one advantage Jäger has, of course, is it has a 5.4 kilometer detection radius, but if it does get spotted, it doesn't have a whole lot of HP. You can see I'm using the commander skill to give myself a little bit more HP, but still not a lot. And if you get caught in this thing, it's really easy to be headed back to port in a hurry. Now, I'm using the radio location skill here to put some torpedoes out on where I think someone is probably approaching the cap. My hope is that there's going to be a destroyer approaching the cap and that he might turn slightly as he gets toward the cap, or maybe he's going to turn broadside momentarily just outside the cap and try to back in. And I'm hoping to capitalize on that by getting these torpedoes out early. And the torpedoes reload so fast on this thing. This can be an effective tool. The combination of radio location and the fast moving, fast reloading torpedoes can mean you can land a couple early in the game and give a destroyer a reason to maybe hang back a little farther than they would otherwise. Now I'm going to sit right here because if it's the Smolensk, and we really still don't on the minimap have any idea where any of the destroyers are. If it's the Smolensk, he could radar any time. And if he does, I do not want to be out in the open. There's the radar. So I know it's Smolensk here. There's another destroyer in the Bravo cap, which is either the Z-46 or the Holland, because we can see that the Sherman is over at the Charlie cap. Now, there are 3 Jägers in this game. Of course, I'm playing this one, but you can see we've got 2 of them over at the Charlie cap. Together, they should be able to get some really nice cross torps. My torps are back up. Schlieffen is moving into torpedo range. And maybe I can get some dual-purpose torps here. I'm going to put another couple batches of torpedoes out, and then I'm going to try and make this turn so they don't get stuck on the island. And let's see if I can get through here. Now, our Iowa played a really solid game. He did everything he could to help at Alpha, and the same can be said of our Bourgogne and our Colbert. You can see that this is the light side for our team. There are only 4 of us here. The rest of our team is over basically at the Charlie cap. Nobody even tried on our team for Bravo. So we are outnumbered on this side, and I land 2 more torpedoes, presumably again on the Smolensk. Now the Smolensk he can fix himself up a little bit, but he's got to be cursing my name at this point. I've landed 3 torpedoes on him. I'm almost certain it's him, right? I guess it could be the Z-46. We still haven't seen where he's at. But it seems likely that it's Smolensk. He's probably hunting me. He probably knows I'm here just from the number of torpedoes that I've been throwing out. And you can see my comment there in game. Landed 3 torps on him. He will be banged up. So if somebody gets eyes on him, there's a chance of being able to take him out. Now, I could run for it. I could head for Bravo, but I'm not going to do that. I've got a Bourgogne that's out there. I've got an Iowa here and a Colbert here. If I leave, they have no spotting. I'm able to detect the torps just a split second earlier than the Iowa or Colbert would have. I have to hope that gives the Iowa enough time to run. I'm just going to flood that area, and maybe I get a fire on Smolensk, and then that follows up with a torpedo as I run to avoid getting blapped. Now, you can see where the Ohio's at, and he's kind of at the edge there. I know that there was a destroyer in Bravo, but I think I need to push out here a little bit, maybe towards like, well, just the west, maybe another square on the minimap. I need to reposition because at this point the Smolensk is going to be guessing that I'm in the same spot, along with the rest of his team. Now, I missed an opportunity here, I think, because the Kremlin, he continues to inch up, and I could have put torpedoes, a whole bunch of them, into his nose. But none of us has a crystal ball. I did the best that I could, and I think I played a decent game, by the time it was all over. But I really feel like I missed an opportunity on the Kremlin because he was just kind of sitting stationary with his nose sticking out. And I opted to go for the Ohio here, and I should have spread these torps out a lot more, and I should have used a wide spread. I went for the kill shot on the Ohio because his guns are so phenomenal, and he was in an open water position. But as it turned out, my torpedoes really didn't do anything, and someone else took care of the Ohio. And that's the opportunity on the Kremlin that I was talking about. You can see he's just sitting there. And I see that the Holland is moving through the Bravo cap and through the Bravo cap, moving this way. So I don't want to get any closer, but there's still an opportunity for me on Kremlin if I just sit tight, kind of like where I'm at right now. But I think in the game, in the actual moment, I was thinking I really need to get back to Alpha, otherwise Smolensk is going to be pushing in, finishing off our Bourgogne. But look at that. The Kremlin is just sitting there. Now our Bourgogne does finish off their Ohio. And I really I just kicked myself. That was such an opportunity against Kremlin. And I just saw it all too late. And I'm figuring, well, maybe I catch Salem here. That's the only reason I didn't send all 4 sets toward Kremlin. I waited so long that Salem was repositioning. And we're actually beginning to win the position battle at Alpha. So I need to get back over here. Now, the bad guys are down Ohio and Sherman. We are now down Nevsky, Gearing, and Jäger. As you see, the Gearing and Nevsky both in short order sunk. I'm going to put a couple into the Salem here, and I just want to stay 9 kilometers or more, well, 9.1 or more, away from the Salem, so I don't get radared by him. And then, of course, I've still got to worry about the Smolensk. And the Z-46, which still has not shown up anywhere on the mini-map other than Alpha 9, right? That was a long time ago, I think. I don't really feel like I have to worry much about the Z-46. Now you can see him again. He has moved this way a little bit, but he is solely focused on helping his Duncan at Stalingrad and Azuma. So he's kind of in the same position on that end of the map that I'm in here. Now I'm going to put torpedoes out here. Kind of a wide spread. Because the torpedoes reload in just over a minute, you can see our Bourgogne, he's about to get sunk. Smolensk flooded him out. And I just have to avoid getting detected here. I want to see if I can get eyes on the Smolensk. Schlieffen, of course, is almost sunk. I'm going to just kind of point that out to the team. Hey, somebody please finish him off. But I don't think anybody can get guns on him right this second, other than, well, I guess Colbert could. And Colbert finished him off. And I'm just pointing out there's something else there. They will be able to deduce what that is. They've seen the Smolensk over here. They know he's here. I land 1 torpedo, which tells me that the Satsuma, he went nose in to where I was. And now he looks like he is turning more southerly. There's the Smolensk. I have to hope he won't radar right this second. That would be really bad for me. Even though I'm at full health, Smolensk guns in tandem with the Salem, and I could find myself sunk very quickly. Smolensk torpedoes are headed toward Iowa, and I'm going to see if I can catch the Satsuma. I've sent half of my torpedoes towards Salem and Smolensk, and I'll send the rest towards Satsuma. Probably should have sent that second set a little farther ahead. And now Satsuma and Kremlin are both focused on the Alpha cap. And you can see my counterpart there, the friendly Jäger, just outside the Bravo cap as I land another torpedo, I think, on the small one. That guy probably absolutely hates me right about now. I'm going to put at least one. There's 2 on Satsuma, 3 on Satsuma, but it just doesn't do a lot of damage. Now, I'm going to stop this for just a second. I'm watching the Kremlin and Satsuma both push toward the Alpha cap, and I'm trying to decide what they're going to do. I don't know whether they're going to continue kind of south and end up, here, or whether they're going to turn in here. Now, my guess is they're going to turn in here. They know where the Iowa's at. They know where the Colbert's at. They've got a Smallland helping and a Salem helping. So my guess is they're going to come in here. So I have to decide what do I want to do, expecting them to do that. Well, I think what I want to do is I want to push out here. And, you can see I've still got just a few seconds till my torpedoes are back up. Maybe I get torpedoes out here, and if I can get them to think I'm running this way, and they probably are aware they've got somebody here, maybe they decide that the best thing to do is run this way to get away from a torpedo threat. So that's kind of what I had in mind. And that may require me to let them see me, right? I may have to become visible to really kind of spur that horse, if you get what I mean. So if I do make myself visible, it will be for a very short period of time. And I'm hoping that once I've done that, rather than run back into open water, they're going to run right in that gap. And it looks to me like they're actually already starting to do that, right? You can see that the Satsuma, he's got his nose kind of pointed into that gap, and the Kremlin is more than likely going to follow him in. Both of them still have, not a ton of HP, but a significant amount. And these torpedoes, though they don't do much damage, I think if I put a lot of torpedoes into the side of one or more of those, I might be able to help finish it off. So all of that is what I have in mind as I am, kind of in the moment in the game. And I only point all of that out because especially if you're not much of a destroyer player, or if you prefer the gunboat destroyers, maybe that's not something you would have thought of. So I'm going to work here to make myself visible for just a second or maybe 2, as short a period of time as I can. And they'll see the direction that I'm moving, and that will give them reason to think, okay, the threat is actually from behind me.
Well done, Commander. Well done.
Kremlin is going to detect me here in a second. I'm just which one's closer. And as soon as I'm detected, you see I'm already moving away. I'm going to turn. I don't want to be detected for any longer than I absolutely have to, but they know I'm here. They saw the direction I was going. And so they're going to be thinking, okay, the torpedo threat is going to be coming from kind of where this island is, right there. That's what I'm hoping for. And you can see the Kremlin is moving forward. You can see the Satsuma is moving forward. I'm just going to flood this little gap here with torpedoes and hope that I can help my team by finishing one of them off. Now, the team is actually doing fairly well anyway. The red team is down 5 ships. We are down now 5 ships. But we do have a little bit of a points lead. If I can manage to finish one of these battleships, that can be a really big help to the team. Now, we do have a significant caps lead, but there's still a Smallland and still a Z-46 to contend with. And now, the Smallland, if he decides to move on that cap, which this Kremlin, he's in big trouble. Yeah, 8 torpedoes in his side, managed to finish him off. I really, there's not a whole lot I can do at Alpha right now with that Salem sitting there, right? And I've got a Jäger that's sitting north of my position. And I'm thinking maybe I can get some torpedoes on the Satsuma. Now, if he turns, he's going to avoid a lot of those. And the Kremlin sitting there in the water keeps me from being able to, put them any farther north. But you could see that the Satsuma took a big shot and then finished off the Iowa. But as you see there, although we lost the Iowa, Kurfürst finished off the Salem. My friend here, Raw Fish in the other Jäger, finished off the Satsuma. And at this point, the game's looking really good for our team. I don't think the Smollin by himself is going to be able to handle 2 full health Jägers, even though his guns are, I mean, just an order of magnitude better. The 24, potentially 24 torpedoes that could be flooding half at any given moment, in addition to 350 millimeter guns per ship, evens the odds a little bit. We also have a huge points lead, and our team is really just mopping up. It's a fun ship, the Jäger. If you like torpedo destroyers, I think you probably really like this one. I'm going to throw some torpedoes out here kind of preemptively. And it's really a roll of the dice whether myself or this other Jäger is going to be able to put eyes on the Smollin first. I'm kind of hoping, the reason I held on to those, that he would come around this, between these islands here. I'm just going to twist the tail of the ship to be able to avoid the torpedo. But it doesn't look like he's going to come down through here. It looks like he ran across. So my friend the Jäger spots him first. There's his radar because he's detected. I'm in cover. I will be able to get off at least one volley here while I'm sure he's going to run. And that's the game. Thank you very much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, I'd really appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.